Hey everyone, today we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to show clips of my saves, and then we're going to slow it down to about 20%, and I'll talk through what my reasonings and justifications are. So, let's get started. So on that one, the shot's coming in a little bit slow and ends up getting deflected right in front of my net. So I had to do a butterfly recovery from my right to my left and knock it into the corner. Now, really, I should have put it more into the corner. There's that guy in white with the yellow helmet there who was pretty close to where I put it, so I need to work on putting that straight into the corner. On this one, we have a breaking forward down that left side, but I also have a defenseman who's guarding the slot, so I know he's not going to be able to go there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to make myself as big as possible on his terrible angle by going into the VH. Now the problem here is my glove isn't really high enough. Granted, he still hits my thigh rise, which hits my chest protector, and I make the save, but nonetheless my glove probably needs to be a little bit higher on this play. This one was an easy save. He ends up pulling up at the top of the circle, puts an easy wrister on, ends up hitting me at the top of the blocker, and I control it into the right corner, which is exactly what you want to do. The only thing here is I need to be at the top of my crease. I'm not sure what I'm doing still back on my crease there. It was an easy shot, so I should have been at the top of my crease or maybe even a foot out. Now this was also an easy save, but I made a huge mistake on it. So he's coming down that right side, puts an easy wrister onto my 5-hole. I make the butterfly save perfectly. The problem here is I didn't control my rebound at all. So instead of putting it into the corner like I should have, it goes straight out into the slot past my defenseman, but fortunately I had a defenseman right there. Now this one's hilarious because my defenseman, who I've played on and off with for probably 8 or 9 years now, and knows that I like to play the puck, decides to pass it back to me. Problem is, I wasn't paying attention at all, probably practicing math or doing Russian in my head or something, and instead, suddenly I have a puck right in front of me. So the only thing I could think to do was get it out of my crease and then make myself as big as possible. Fortunately, the shot ends up going over my shoulder. I didn't even have to get a piece of it, so it worked out, and then we bickered at each other for a little bit afterwards. On this one, we see a very nice pass from the guy in the middle over to the guy on the left. And I thought right here that he was probably going to roof it. He didn't have a whole lot of room. Unfortunately, I went a little too far over, and he ended up coming a little more towards the slot, which gave him a beautiful shot on my blocker side. So that was completely my fault that I was off my angles, and I need to make sure that when I'm in my paddle down that I'm on my angle. I actually really like breakaways, and one of the main reasons is because it makes you a little bit nervous and puts you on the edge of your skates. So what I like to do is come out to the top of my crease here, which is pretty aggressive for me, and I make sure that I'm trying to be a little aggressive with the incoming skater. Now here I'm not really matching his speed going backwards, but I know that I'm in pretty good position. So as he goes across to the backhand, I'm already in good position. He didn't have anywhere to shoot. This is one of those easy shots that's actually a pretty difficult decision because the shot didn't come in particularly hard, but I had to make a save with my right pad or my stick. The problem here is that I didn't have anywhere to put it because if I roof it, it could hit the defenseman or the forward. So the only thing I had to do here was hope for the best. So I stuck my foot out, ended up going into the slot, and fortunately my defenseman was right there and they were able to recover pretty quickly. This one actually took me a little bit to figure out what was going on, and I had to look at it on slo-mo a few times. Now, I remember the play very well. When he passes across, I thought for sure that this was going to be a sure goal. The problem here is it actually bounces on him a little bit, hits the crossbar, and hits my defenseman on the other side. It didn't really make a crossbar noise though, so I thought for sure it went in, and that's why I have my dejected look on my face right now. But as I turn around, I finally realized that the play is still going on, and had to make sure that I get over to that corner as quickly as possible. This one's a little trick that I like to use, and that's when I'm watching the guy going behind the net, I'll leave my stick so that it's guarding the slot. So we can see here he's starting to go behind and he's looking into the slot. What I'll do here is I'll stick my stick out in the slot just a little bit, and it ends up going off the paddle of my stick. Now unfortunately I slid over a little bit too far here, so fortunately that guy in white that was behind my defenseman wasn't too close. So my bad, but nonetheless, that's a little trick that I like to use. This one's one of those tricky plays where you're following the play and it ends up going into the slot. And we'll see my defenseman actually whiff on the puck here. And then it's a mad scramble of figuring out where the puck went. So the pass is going to come here in a second, and there's my defenseman who whiffs on it. And now I'm trying to figure out where did it go. Now it actually went over to my right, which I realize right about now. And fortunately that forward puts it straight into my leg pad. I had no idea that it was there. This one's an incredibly simple play, but one that I make a pretty basic mistake on. So we see here that's the defenseman coming down the left side, and he's actually going to get a very bad angle shot. What I'm going to do is go down in the VH, trying to make myself as big as possible. As the shot comes in, it's going to hit me in the chest, but I never once move my gloves. What I should have done is move my gloves in and make sure that I corral that rebound. This is one of those small plays that can become troublesome very quickly. So we see the guy all the way on the left ended up passing to the guy on the right, and now he has a couple options here. He can either go to the front of the net, pass down to the corner, pass into the slot. He ends up doing an easy little shot that was kind of floating to the guy in gray there. Fortunately, it came down and it went right underneath my butterfly, so it wasn't too difficult, but it could be troublesome if it bounced out back into the slot or to the guy in gray. Chalk this one up to me not paying attention yet again. The puck went behind my net and I'm just kind of lackadaisically looking around, and suddenly there's a guy on my other side with the puck. Fortunately I got to that post and he wasn't able to poke it in there, and then I ended up going down in the butterfly and making a little glove save here pretty quickly. So it ended up working out in the end, but I need to stop being lazy in these skates obviously. For some reason our defenseman just wasn't having a very good day and ended up almost falling over on this play, getting walked in the process, but fortunately that forward ends up losing the puck here due to that defenseman. By the time he got control of it, I was already on the other side of the net, went to paddle down, made an easy save. He didn't have anything to look at. Now right here, normally I'd probably try to go for that rebound and stop it, but right here it's just a stick and puck and it's just a fun scrimmage, so I just keep it going. Here my defenseman actually tries to put a pass to the slot, and of course that gets picked off. So now their forward has all the time in the world to put a pretty good shot on. So he comes in into the slot and tries to roof it over my glove. I end up making an okay save, but I didn't catch it exactly right. Ends up dropping down in front, and fortunately my defenseman was right there to pick up for my mistake. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I like breakaways, and so I came out a little bit more than I usually do on this one since I know the shooter very well, and I know that he's probably going to shoot blocker side as he normally does, and as he did earlier. So as he shoots it, I just stick my arm out, make a nice little blocker save, and ends up going into the corner perfectly. Now in this one, there is no excuse for this rebound going back into the slot. It wasn't a particularly hard slap shot, even though it was in pretty close. But nonetheless, I should have gotten it with my stick instead of my pad. And instead of putting it into the corner, it goes straight into the slot. So that was completely my mistake. This is another one of those plays that's actually really good, but it ends up breaking up, so you're not too sure where the puck is. So as the guy's coming across, I know he's either going to shoot and not have a very good angle, or he's going to try to pass back across to either the guy in the slot or the guy that's in the high slot. He ends up passing it to the guy in the low slot, but it bounces around a couple people's skates. Right about here I notice where it is, and fortunately I push over and get over in time for a nice little chest save and control the rebound perfectly. On this play, my laziness in the VH finally catches up with me. This guy's a pretty good shooter, I know he can roof it, so as he's coming across, I go into the VH to maximize the probability of getting a piece of it. Problem is, I got a piece of it, but my glove positioning wasn't great, and so it ends up bouncing off my glove and inside the net. Let's see how many mistakes we can count on this play. So we have the forward who's going to put a pretty easy shot on, though I can barely see it. Now at this point I finally see it, and I blocker it down, but I don't blocker it into the corner, so there's the first mistake. The second mistake is I miss right there, though I do like the effort. Too many goalies don't give a good effort when the puck is right there with a forward, so I'm okay with that. Now, the third mistake is I have no idea where this puck is, and I finally realize it right about now. And we'll go to the fourth mistake, which is shuffling over. And the puck is finally going to come up to the defenseman up here, and here's going to be another mistake. That defenseman's going to put a pretty weak slap shot on, and unfortunately my defenseman goes to tip it right there, changing the direction entirely, and now it's going so slow I can't even direct it into the corner, and instead it bounces off my stick and inside the net. Not a great play for anyone. Here I am being lazy again. The guy's coming down the left side, and I didn't expect this shot whatsoever. So as he comes across, I get into my position, and he lets off a shot right about now that I was not expecting at all. As I come up, I finally realize the shot's coming in, and I just stick it into the corner. So it ended up working out, and it actually didn't look too bad. But in full honesty, I was not expecting that shot to happen whatsoever. This is a play where it ends up working out in the end, but really I shouldn't have made a very basic mistake. So here's that really good shooter again. He's going to put a pretty good shot on, and it's going to hit me in the pants here. And instead of cradling it, like I expected, it goes into the corner. So it was an okay mistake, but still one that shouldn't have been made. He ends up following up his own play and coming back in front of the net and puts a pretty nice backhand on, though my defenseman gets a stick on it fortunately, and it goes above the net. So the play ended up working out in the end, but had I not made my mistake and cradled the rebound in the first place, it would have been much better. This one's a really nice play by the incoming forwards. He's going to end up passing to the guy who is in the high slot here, who's going to have all the time in the world to put as good of a shot on as he wants. He probably actually should have tried deking around me or even passing back to the other guy, but instead he goes for a shot to my upper glove side, and I end up getting a piece of it and it goes into the corner. Here's another rebound control mistake. Now, the shot comes in rather weakly, but I have a guy right in front of me blocking my view, and I'm not sure if he's going to get a deflection or not. So as the shot comes in, I'm just trying to get as big as possible. Unfortunately, the rebound comes out and goes straight into him, but I end up getting a blocker on it, which goes straight into the slot. Fortunately, I had a defenseman there to pick up for me, but in the best case scenario, I really should have cradled that initial shot. Now there's not a whole lot to this play other than it's kind of a 2-on-1. Now at this point he could probably pass over to the guy in the high slot. But as he comes in here I know that he's probably going to shoot, especially right here. Now he ends up trying to shoot high glove and it gets me on the shoulder and goes into the far side of the slot. Could probably use a little bit of different positioning there, but I'm okay with this. Now in this play I finally wake up and decide to cradle a rebound. So he doesn't have a very good angle to shoot at, so I know that if I just go down in a half butterfly, I'm probably going to be able to cradle that rebound pretty easily, and I do. Here we have sort of a perfect storm, because we have that defenseman who likes to put shots on, and right in front of me we also have this forward who likes deflections. So I know that this shot is probably going to be relatively weak, looking for a deflection in front. And he does end up getting it on his stick. Now I end up going down the butterfly, making a pretty nice save, and the rebound goes over to the left side for my defenseman to get. Not too bad. Now here we have that defenseman who likes to take those point shots again. However, in this case, he doesn't really have anyone to deflect the puck, except for that one guy who's practically right in front of him. So he releases a high wrist shot, and it ends up catching me in the palm. I rebound pretty quickly and catch it correctly, but still, I should have caught it right the first time. This is a much more complicated play. At this point, it looks like he's probably going to pass to the guy who's over on my right, but instead he keeps the puck. As he's driving around, my defenseman's actually going to get his stick on the puck, which actually puts the puck past my other defenseman and into the slot. So right here, I'm expecting that pass to make it through, so I have to recover back pretty quickly. That puck makes it through that defenseman, and now they have a guy who's following up. Complicating the issue is there's another guy right in front of me screening me, so now I'm having to look through him and see if I can get my eyes on this puck. Fortunately I do, and I make a relatively nice leg save, and the puck ends up going down to my right. Not too bad of a play overall. This is one of those plays where I get the label of being a hybrid goalie just because I stand up, but I figure at this point he doesn't have anyone to pass to, and also he doesn't have much of an angle to shoot at. So I just put the pads together and let it hit me in the glove and drop down in front of me for my defenseman. In a normal game I would smother the rebound, but this is just a scrimmage, so I let it go. This is an incredibly simple play because I know he doesn't have anyone to pass to, so either he has to keep the puck and go around the net or put a shot on. He opts to go for the shot, and it's not a bad one, but it's just straight into me, so it's easy to cradle the rebound. Here we have another play with some rebound issues. So the play's coming in and he makes a quick shot, so I wasn't too sure where it was going to go at that point. It ends up going to my left and I make a pad save, instead of getting my stick on it, which would have been better. The puck ends up going over to my left side, I get over well in time, and he ends up putting a shot that doesn't even come remotely close to the net. It ended up working out in the end, but there were still things that I could have done a little bit differently. You've probably seen me do this before, and that's if there's a weak shot coming in, what I'll try to do is tap it out for my defenseman so he can take it up. Now unfortunately in this case, I tip it up for my defenseman and didn't realize there was a guy right behind him. So he ended up getting the puck. Not a great situation here. Now this play is a real treat, and also a lot of controversy at the same time. So we have that really good forward who's coming in and skating very well, and he's going to go down into the corner. And at this point I think he's probably going to go to that defenseman who's coming into the high slot right now. Instead he puts up a very high and relatively weak pass that's coming in right here, and the incoming forward in the slot just bats it out into the top corner. Perfect play. Question is, was it above the post? Well, you decide. So that's the end of this video. Make sure to make a comment and let me know if you like the format of this video. It's a little bit different than we've done in the past, but it was fun to be able to tell you guys exactly what I'm thinking during the plays. So, good luck out there. Hope you enjoyed it.